So, with the new number placement, the next-gen car, all that good stuff that's all new, we're seeing a slew of new paint schemes. And every year we see new paint schemes. Some good, some not so good at all. But the thing is, there are some paint schemes that we've seen in the past who have been good or have fit a driver and car well, but have then been left behind in said past. So today, I want to look back at 10 NASCAR paint schemes that I think should be brought back to the forefront. Now, there's a bunch of different ways these can be used. Maybe we use them as a throwback scheme. Maybe it's used as a scheme to pay tribute to something. Maybe it's just a scheme for the entire year. I don't care. I'll let you guys decide in the comments how they would be used. And yes, some have been brought back at times, but maybe the scheme is so good it should be brought back full time. So with all that being said, let's get right into it. Starting off, we have Martin Truex Jr.'s 2005 Bass Pro Shops car, but not the one from the NASCAR Busch Series championships he won, but instead the ones from the few cup races he ran that year. You see, Truex ran a couple races in 05 to get a bit of a feeler for the Cup Series that he would be going into full-time in 2006. And the car that he used, in my opinion, was absolutely beautiful. Yes, Bass Pro Shops still was sponsoring him back then, but instead of having maybe the Dayglow orange, the neon orange, camo, instead it was this great metallic red color. And I think the best version of this scheme wasn't the one with the black number 1 on it, but instead the white number 1. I think that this paint scheme could really fit on the next gen car, as in all honesty, it's very simplistic. It's basically metallic red with then some camo trim on the bottom. The only thing that you'd have to take out is the DEIE for obvious reasons. Let's stick with Joe Gibbs Racing for this next pick. And while we're at it, let's stick with the 2006 NASCAR Cup Series rookie class with Denny Hamlin now. And this time, we're going to look at the Fedex car, but not any Fedex car. Let's look at the 2011 to 2014 Fedex car, where there were these beautiful white kind of flames that had the color of whatever the FedEx scheme was that week, jutting out from it down the side of the car and in front of it, in front of the hood. I think that, in my opinion, this was the best looking car that Denny Hamlin has ever consistently had. I love simplicity like the 2006 and 7 cars, but I think this one takes the cake. And it always stood out on track when it was coming towards the camera, and it always stood out going by, and it just looks fast. The only difficult part with this would be fitting in the 11 since the numbers have been moved up. Because of how the white is on the car, you might have to make something that kind of separates the number from the side of the car. But I think that Joe Gibbs Racing could do it. So please, please, please bring this one back. Okay, last one that's strictly from Joe Gibbs Racing here. I'm sorry, they made some great schemes back in the day, and they could have some great schemes now. But this one is Bobby Labani's Interstate Batteries car, and it literally could be any of them. I personally love the 2003 and 2005 versions of it, but a lot of people like the 2000 version, or the 99, or the 2001, whatever it might be. It changed in little ways every year, and that's what made it unique. And you could do a version of it that isn't the same as any of those, but is in the same vein. Now, I want to preface this by saying that Kyle Busch's Interstate Batteries car he's going to be racing this year is absolutely beautiful. And honestly, I'm completely fine keeping it, and I actually prefer it over these. But if you are going to change away from it, go back to the green, red, and black schemes. I think that it would be really fun to see, and it's most associated with Interstate Battery's success as a sponsor overall. The next one I really like is Tony Stewart's 2005 number 33 Old Spice Busch Series car. Listen, I know that Old Spice isn't sponsoring anyone in NASCAR anymore, especially Tony Stewart's team, but I will say I think that this really could fit well. The blue lines in the car could be shifted minimally for the number placement and also be able to highlight the sponsors on the side of the car the way that the teams and the sponsors would want. I think that it would be a way also for a car to stick out, as it almost had that kind of same metallic red that Martin Truex Jr.'s 2005 Cup car did. Now, on top of that, I really think that red schemes fit well with the 4, 14, and 41 cars. So you could even make this the current Haas car for the 41 of Cole Custer, or you could do it for the 4 car of Harvick, depending on what sponsor comes along, or the 14 of Briscoe, who seems to just fit any red car well. and any old Tony Stewart car well. Either way, I think this is a scheme that has been vastly underappreciated since its running and should definitely be brought back. Next up is Jeff Gordon's 2001 to 2008 Flames Dupont car. Now, of course, Dupont isn't what it used to be. It's Axalta. And, of course, sponsorship is always fluid and changing. But the thing is that they've been able to use the Rainbow Warrior scheme, which I will admit is the most iconic of Jeff Gordon's career. But for a lot of us kids who grew up in the 2000s, the Flames car is just as, if not more, iconic to us. And seeing how a lot of us are sort of growing into the target demo of fans, it would be perfect for Hendrick Motorsports to pay homage to Jeff Gordon, maybe if it's just once or if it's for a season. Yes, they've done variations of it, but we've gotten the full Rainbow Warriors car back. We've never gotten the Flames Jeff Gordon car back. Now, the next pick on my list, I think, is going to be one that many people are going to think is odd, and pretty much nobody remembers that well. And it's the 2009 Aj Almondinger Valvoline Car. This car was meant to look retro, and in my opinion, when it comes to the petty cars, retro is the best way to go with it. I really don't think they've made that good of a scheme that hasn't been retro since they've run these kind of ones up to the 90s. So, what's so great about it? Well, the thing is, it can fit both the 42 and the 43 cars. You have the petty blue on the top with the white down the side of it that makes both stand out. But in my opinion, what brings the whole scheme together is the fact that the numbers are also in petty blue. It gives it, in my opinion, an old school look that really could make the scheme fit in any era of NASCAR from the 1940s all the way up to the 2020s. And when you move the number forward, it's even more retro. So I really think that, if possible, this car should be run on either the 42 or the 43, whichever one you can make it run on. Now, we're going to go back to Jeff Gordon for a second on this one with this 2009 Retro Pepsi Car. This car, in my opinion, has both old school looks and a timeless look to it as well. The red numbers over sort of a mustard yellow and black background really make it pop off. And the car doesn't look like anything else that's run in the field or that's really been run in the field in the last 20 to 30 years. The thing is, it could fit the 24 car or any other car, whether it be Hendrick or any team. I really don't think that this scheme is beholden to be run by just one car. So anyone in the field, in my opinion, could do this one and really pay it justice, whether it's for one race or full time. Just hopefully this time it lasts longer than it did in the 2009 Talladega race that it was originally run in. Now, for this one, I'm going to be pretty vague with it, but I think any of the 1990s Miller High Life cars that Rusty Wallace ran should be used in some way by Team Penske. I know that Miller Lite and Miller High Life and all that is not with the team really anymore, but the thing is, there still can be opportunities that you can use this car with. You can use it maybe with an advanced auto parts scheme with Blaney. What makes this car work is simplicity. Simplicity is key here. Now, another car that I think should be brought back from the 1990s is Mark Martin's Folger car. This would be really good, seeing how RFK has a similar font for the number 6 car now that it did back then. And it really makes it all come together because of that font. It wouldn't work with the old school 6 that you saw in the Viagra days or the AAA days, but it works with this one. And the thing is, it could fit with any red 6 car. It doesn't have to mean that Folgers comes back into the fold. It could be any sponsor that they get. Also, in my opinion, what would be really good is seeing how RFK is moving into the future. This would be a good way to celebrate the past. Now, for the last one, I'm going to give you Mark Martin fans something you're probably oh so used to, and that is pain.
So much pain! So much pain!
Because I'm going to give you his number 8 2008 Steakums car. Okay, I'm kidding. I can't even go that far with it. No, instead I'm going to give you the Shell Pennzoil car that Kevin Harvick used. As you know, this car is one that has really stood the test of time and been remembered by a lot of NASCAR fans as one of the best cars in the last 30 years of the sport. And it was used in the throwback, I know that, but you see, the thing about the Shell Pennzoil car nowadays is that it just is very underwhelming. It's just flat yellow with a little bit of red here and there. It just does not really look as good, and it's definitely not as standard as the old scallop scheme was. So, in my opinion, what would make this one work is using it, maybe shuffling a little bit with the number, but using it the same way and having it be that brighter yellow and red color that makes it stick out on the track more. While I like the way that Shell Pennzoil has really made their cars the last couple years with Joey Logano, it has seemed like the colors are more muted than they were before. They're bright, but when you go to the track, it doesn't stick out the way that those old RCR cars did. So doing it like that would be amazing in getting my eyes, and probably the eyes of many others, on the Shell Pennzoil brand. Now, with that, I've said my piece. These are the ones that I would love to see come back, and I know there's so many others, so that's where I pass this all on to you. What schemes do you want to see brought back to NASCAR? Let me know down in the comments below. And while you're at it, leave a like on this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel for more great NASCAR content like this. And to all my channel members, thank you so much for your continued support. So until next time, have a good one.